There's a howl in the wind, like a deep guttural howl in the wind that you only hear in the most severe storms.
It was frightening at times. White caps on the harbor, white caps on the road.
It was so eerie because you just got a feeling that this is going to be really bad. You know, if you're going to study severe weather and climate change and the impact of the ocean on a place, this is the place to be.
I mean, it's just really a matter of time before that ocean meets the marsh. And the town will be flooded. It's certainly going to happen in my lifetime.
Welcome to Scituate Harbor, located in Scituate, Massachusetts, which is a small town about 30 miles south of Boston.
Scituate's always been a very tightly knit community.
It was a really, really vibrant community. We always had parades and all these families were really close.
It's an amazing place to live 360 days a year, and then 5 other days you have no idea what's going to happen. During the early March storm of this year, I'd say it was the second time I was the most concerned, again, for my family's safety.
The first high tide that was here, we didn't take any water on. Second high tide, we took a ton of water. The third one came in and we were just kind of fighting for dear life after that.
And we had 90-mile-an-hour wind gusts and the house was shaking.
The toilet bowls, the water would slosh as the waves would come in.
They were saying things on the police scanner that calls were coming in to deal with low-hanging wires and trees down, and they were just had to say things like add it to the list, because it's like when we can only have so many people in so many places. That was hard.
We had sand all the way up here, rocks, seagrass, you name it, you know, fish, everything. It was just destroyed from the ocean.
Central Ave in Hummerock is the place that just gets completely wiped out in these storms.
8 feet of sand and debris. I mean, that's what the storms leave. There's almost, 8-foot deep piles along, 2 main roads.
I have kids that don't come to school. They physically can't get out of their houses. One of the particular homes that was a full blow-through had never had damage like that in the 52 years that the homeowner had been there. So there's no doubt that the damage is getting worse. This was completely flat and protected. Now all of it is laying over here. This like 6, 8 feet of rocks, there's a road underneath this. So that will be inaccessible till they move it all.
They're a hardy bunch, but I think they're getting a little weary.
Everybody knows that they're living in a coastal town. You have to expect these kinds of things every now and then.
To see the level of rise in the tide and to have our front street, which is our main street in the harbor here, flooded for the first time, I think that has been quite alarming to folks.
With Scituate getting hit so hard with these winter storms, there's a few things we have to look at. One is the actual storms themselves, but 2, one of the biggest impacts was the water. The record flooding that Scituate experienced this year will likely fall in the future to new records because our sea levels are still rising. So what that means is we're going to get not even just higher floods in the future with these storms, but it's going to happen more frequently. And there's a direct tie to sea level rise and climate change with the rise and how far the push of water went.
I would say that people in Scituate are more open to the reality of climate change and how it's impacting our coast with these storms. There was always a debate as to, okay, how fast is the sea level rising? Do we really need to take these drastic steps? But I think this last storm in March definitely demonstrated that, yes, the sea level has certainly risen to a level that needs addressing sooner rather than later.
I do worry about Scituate. Sadly, we're going to be leaving for the time being because the storms have just they've been too much the past few years for us.
We have personal friends that will not be rebuilding. They're going to either sell the property or they're going to move somewhere else.
So it's always like, oh my God, are we going to make it? I mean, every year we pull up the stairs and, you know, give it a kiss and say, I hope you're here in the spring.
And the landscape's going to be totally different. It's never the same every year, which is, I mean, whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but it's constantly changing, so.
Do you worry about anything in particular?
Yeah, I'm really worried. No, I am, seriously. I think this has been really, eye-opening isn't the right word. To me, it's just really elevated the sense of urgency that we need to take to address it.
Unfortunately, it's not getting better. This is on the ground. This shows people of how much damage can be done in such a short period of time in the last 5 years.
I think everybody got a big wake-up call at how severe the weather was turning. It's just going to get worse.